What's up, guys? It's your boy, Reset Boy, back with another video. Are you good? Okay, guys, so happy Monday. Can't believe it's Monday. Last week, Monday, my sister was flying back to Orlando, and then I left on Tuesday. But I had so much fun. I don't want to talk about that, guys. So anyways, what we're talking about today is, we are talking about, hopefully we can do the Q&A. That's like the plan, guys. I really want to do the Q&A. That'll be really fun to get the Q&A out. We were actually looking at the stacks of my YouTube channel, and we were seeing where they are, and they're like super low. Like, we're like, oh my god, they're really low. But we're not doing it just to get my stats up. Like, I could care less about that. We're doing it because we like to talk, and we're like, why aren't we talking to people like about like real stuff, about like what's really going on in the world right now, through what's happening, through, you know, relationships with family members, to what's happening in your own relationship, to, you know, whatever is going on in your life. We were like, why don't we just talk about that? And then we wanted to really talk about like me and John just want to get really deep into like our own challenges and our own structure and our own things in our own life that have happened over the years, and like how we've overcome them and how we fixed them, and how, you know, people have just been, we've had a lot of negativity people in our lives. I want to actually share a story with you guys. Q&A Wednesday, hopefully Wednesday. Don't hold me to that. I know I feel like I'm lying, but what's going on right now, guys, and I'm not allowed to mention it. It's supposed to get, just what's going on. I don't know if we'll be able to hang out, but me and Jama are still going to try to hang out. We're going to try to do it because we want to start going live a lot more, because I feel like I'm not being more engaging with you guys, and I feel bad about that because I don't want to be like really rude about it. It's just I'm being very careful because I don't want to be like I want to make sure that I'm doing the right thing. So since YouTube's changed a lot of the guidelines on YouTube now. But anyways, getting back to the story that I wanted to tell you guys. Okay, so when I was, did I tell this story already? I don't even remember. When I was 14 years old, okay, I was not an easy kid to get along with. I was more like just very like outspoken, rude. I was a little disrespectful. I was a little disobedient. I just was a lot. I was just a lot to deal with because I was still finding myself at that age. And they're coming back already. And I just remember finding like I had nobody, honestly. I felt like I had nobody. I felt like no one understood me. I felt like no one wanted to understand me. And I felt like at the end of the day, I felt alone, and I felt like completely neglected. And I remember I got in this fight. It wasn't really a fight. It was more of like an argument. And I remember it was bad enough that my mom was like, I don't want you here. You need to go away. You need to go somewhere, because if you're not going to obey and go by our rules, then I don't want you in my home. So I was like, okay, cool, whatever. I was like, I got you. So I remember that she called around. I keep saying that, I'm sorry. I remember that she called around and she tried to find somewhere that I could go. And I remember that no one, or the person that she wanted me to go with, she wanted me to go stay with this family that was like a family doctor that we all knew from church. And he was like, no, I'm having issues with my own child, because, you know, we were both around the same age. So she's like, I don't think that would be good to put them both in the same house, because they would probably tag team against us and just keep rebelling. And most kids rebel at that age. I was like 14. So they were like, most kids rebel at that age anyway. So they were like, no, that would not work. So she's like, okay, that's fine. I understand. Just pray for us. So they were like, yeah, we'll pray for you. But then they were like, okay, we know this other family that he could stay with. And they were like, fine. So I went and stayed with this other family, who was a doctor too. I stayed with her. it was supposed to be like 7 days. It was only supposed to be 7 days until she could like calm down and I could calm down or whatever. So I remember I stayed with them for 7 days, and then they were going out of town and they didn't know that I was coming, so they didn't have my ticket to take me with them because they would have. And I remember I ended up staying with this family next door to them who we knew, who were vegetarians, and the dad worked with my dad, so they already knew each other, and so it was fine. And I remember staying with them for like another 7 days, and then I'm like, well, can I come home? And she's like, have you apologized? You know, do you apologize for what you did? And blah, 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 blah. And I was like, yes, I'm sorry. They wouldn't let me come home. My dad would not let me come home. And my mom and my brother were like, literally by like this, I was with them for 7 months. By the 3rd month, they were like, we want him home. Like, we are lost without him. There's no one here to make us laugh. There's no one here to get on our nerves, whatever. You know, it was like, and me and my brother were close at the time. We were really close at the time. And I remember that they were like, you can't come home. So I started getting mad at my dad. And then by like the 5th month of me putting up with this stuff and them barely letting my mom come and see me and talking so much stuff about my mom and I started to believe it. I started to believe that she didn't want me, and I started to believe that. And I mean, guys, I'm telling you, I ran away from their house every single day. I walked up to 6 miles in the rain trying to just get home. But they lived like, I think they were like hours and hours and hours away from our house. So it really made no sense. And I literally walked every single day. I would go to the church and hide out. And then the church member there that was so annoying, he would call them and be like, Matthew's here, Matthew's at the church. Can you please hold him and then bring him later? And so then they would like, he would just like take me and make me like stay with him and take me to go eat something. I'm like, can you get me out of their house? No, I can't get you to the house. You have to stay there. So then my other best friend, Dylan, I will never forget this. Dylan and this other family were like, Matthew needs to be taken out of there. Matthew's not happy. Matthew's miserable. We know Matthew. Matthew's a happy person and he's miserable. And if they're not going to let him go home, then we'll take him. So they started plotting and trying to find a way to like take me away from this family that I was being really miserable with and get me out of the home. And then they were like, well, if his parents don't want him, then we'll adopt him, you know, because they were like, my best friend, it was just him and his sister, and they loved me. So they were like, we'll adopt Matthew. And then his parents were like, because he's your best friend and because we like him. And I knew Dylan since we were in like preschool. Like we knew each other for years. Like we were best friends for a long time. So he was like, because you've known him like pretty much your whole life, and at this time we were both like 14, he's like, then we'll get him. And I remember we went to, I think it was like somebody's family member's funeral, and that was my last trip with them. And I remember my dad would come over at nighttime to see me, and I would sit across from him and I just wouldn't talk to him. I would listen to him talk. He would say whatever he had to say, and I would just ignore him because I was like, I'm really mad at you. You just want to throw me off here, and you don't even want to like come and get me or nothing. And you just like, it's like you are happy that this is happening. And then he was like, well, I just want you to obey and blah, 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 blah. And I would just ignore him. And then I'd be like, I'm done. And I would walk away and go upstairs. Okay, guys, I'm back. I'm sorry. Emily with student loans just called me. I have no student loans. I've never been to college. So leave me alone, Emily. So anyways, getting back to what I was saying, because I was on a roll. I was trying to go for a whole hour today, guys, but I feel like I'm going to keep getting interrupted. I was really hurt at that time. I really didn't care. I was 14 years old. I felt like they didn't even care anymore. And I was done. I was like, okay, cool. You're done. I'm done. We're good. So I started asking people if they could adopt me or take me in or something. Like, give me time to get a job and get on my feet. So then I remember the day that I went to go stay with my best friend, they had planned a recital, the family I was staying with. And I remember I was in the car with the mom, and she turned to me and she was like, hey, so-and-so wants to take you and wants you to come stay with them. And are you okay with that? And I was like, yeah, I'm fine with that. That's cool. That sounds fun. So I remember I spent one more night with them. And I remember I went and stayed with I remember they picked me up. They dropped me off at Wednesday night because we would go to church every Wednesday night. They were in the orchestra, and then I would be in Bible study. So I remember we went to church, one more night. We went to church on Wednesday. We went to church on Wednesday, and then I was all dressed up all nice because they always dressed up all nice, and everybody was like in jeans and shorts and stuff, and I'm like, why am I dressed like a nerd? So anyways, I went and changed in the bathroom because I had some other clothes, and then Dylan's like, you're coming home with me tonight, like, aren't you so excited? I'm like, I'm so excited. And then I said bye to them. I was like, bye, deuces. So I remember we were hanging out, we had a lot of fun. His mom sang in the orchestra too. And so I remember we were leaving out the back door, and it was late at night, and I remember the lady who I was staying with, she screamed, Matthew. And so I went and hugged her and said, thank you for everything. And then we left. And then she's like, it's not like I'm not going to see you. I'm going to see you next week or Sunday, because we all went to the same church. But they were really mad that, like, the siblings who were getting close to me, who really liked me, were mad that I was leaving, because they were like, you're my brother. We don't want you to leave, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, I have to go, guys. And then I remember we did pizza that night. We had a lot of fun. I had my birthday party with them. They threw me a big birthday party. It was really fun. And I only stayed with them like about, I think it was like another 7 months. And then my cousin was getting married in Jersey. And I remember they were like, well, we want Matthew to come. And I was like, I don't want to go. Like, really? So I remember I had to leave. I remember the day I left too, because we were all crying because we had so much fun, and it was just the two of them, and his family loved me, and I was like, this is the family I want to be with, like, you know, whatever. But I was like, it's in God's hands. And so I remember my last name would have been changed and everything, because his dad was a lawyer, and his dad's like, we could do this so quick, you know, if you're not happy and they don't want you, then we can adopt you, because you're still a minor technically, and we can get you. And I was like, okay, cool, let's do this. Because I was done at that point. I was like, my thing was, if you threw me away basically to the gutter, then I'm done. I don't want to live with somebody who doesn't want me. I'm not going to force myself on a family that doesn't want me. And when they were like, oh, you have to go home because your parents want you, blah, 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 I was like, I don't want to go. They're like, you have to. We don't have any court order to keep you here. I was like, fine. So then I remember they came to pick me up at the house. I said bye to Dylan. Dylan was mad that I was leaving. I was mad that I was leaving. I kept telling him, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. He's like, we're still best friends. Quit acting like this is the end of the world. We're still best friends. We're still going to see each other. And I was like, that's true. And when I came home, I know, guys, this story is like all over the place. But when I came home, literally, there was nothing in my room. I was basically thrown out of the room that I was sharing with my brother. I was put in my parents' room like a baby on a mattress in the corner of their room, like 2 feet from their bed. And literally they gave my whole room to my brother. And they've done that to me twice. They did that to me when I went to Texas, and they did that to me in that time too. I don't know what he does to convince them, but they do it to me all the time. Like this last time when I went to DC, I bet you if he lived here, he would have had my room. I bet you in a heartbeat. Because they think that they have a right to do that because it's their home and they can do whatever the heck they want to do. But I'm like, show respect to me. Like, I did nothing to you guys. Like, in both of those times, like, y'all were the ones who got rid of me. So it's like, you can't do that to me. So anyways, I stayed in the room for about like, I want to say a week, and then it just wasn't working because they were up and down early, stay up late. I couldn't sleep. I snored. They snored. So then finally they moved me back into the room with my brother, and he's like, this is my room, and I'm like, I don't give a, this is both of our rooms. Stop saying that. And then fighting started. Then we started arguing. So that was literally like, and then I had to start school. They threw me into a special needs school, like literally the next year, because they were like, this is what you need, blah, 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 blah. This will be good for you. No, I mean, it was good for me because I was able to be around people that were like me, but their parents didn't understand them in a way. And so it was like really cool to be able to do what you want to do. And I was the oldest kid in the school. So I was the popular kid in the school because everyone knew my age and everybody knew like, oh, Matt's cool. Like, so I had two best friends out of that school. I had Chad and I had Cody. Cody, me, and Chad, and our teacher, Miss Millis, we were all like, and then she would bring her kids that weren't in special school, that were in public school, that would be out of school before ours did. So they would come and hang out with us and help with us. And we all became like, the four of us were like we all came really close. We all became really close. And I remember we used to hang out with her and stuff because her husband worked in the Air Force. And so he would be like, they lived on the base. So we would go over there and go to like these abandoned buildings and stuff. And we were all like really, really cool. But the thing that pissed me off was that Cody's parents were always trying to drug him because they didn't understand him. And I hated that because when he was drugged, he was like a robot. And I was just like, I understood how that felt because I was drugged when I was, you know, younger. So me and my friend Chad, we started saying stuff. And then finally, like, social services stepped in because he was just not being taken care of right. And they took him away. They took him away, but he went to his grandmother. His grandmother raised him because his mother she was not a good mother. But that's really the story of me getting kicked out of the house and what happened. But get ready for our Q&A. We hopefully can do the Q&A Wednesday, guys, and ask whatever questions you guys want. I will definitely try to tweet it, Instagram it, TikTok it, whatever. Go to my YouTube channel, Reese S Boy 30. Subscribe, like, turn on my notifications so you guys know when I post and you know when I'm going to do my Q&A, because I'm going live sometime Wednesday morning or Wednesday afternoon, and you guys can ask us whatever questions you want, whatever you want. It doesn't matter. Nothing's off limit. If you want to know about my life, if you want to know about my surgery, if you want to know about my ex-girlfriend, if you want to know about whoever you want to know about, ask me whatever questions you guys want. All right, love you so much and stay blessed, and I'll see you guys. Oh, and stay safe, and I'll see you guys tomorrow with another video. Peace. Follow me on Instagram. All right, bye. Max34 1989. Bye.